36 hours ago, 18 inches of snow fell on Colorado Springs. And thanks to fine work yesterday by Air Force personnel, we're ready for some football. When Air Force takes the field versus BYU, you can count on seeing offense. Led by senior quarterback John Beck, BYU's air attack has carried the Cougars to the top of the Mountain West. Sean Carney spearheads Air Force's option offense that can beat you through the air, and they're third in the nation in rushing offense. Wingback Chad Hall carries the load for the punishing Falcon running game. BYU puts their undefeated conference record on the line at Air Force next on Versus. It's a beautiful day in Colorado Springs. The cadets coming on the field as today a battle for first place in the Mountain West Conference. The BYU Cougars, riding a 4-game winning streak and the only unbeaten team in the league, square off against the United States Air Force Academy. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. You know, arguably, BYU is the best team in the country with 2 losses. They're 2 plays away from 7-0. Now, Air Force has had back-to-back losing seasons. They were picked 7th in the Mountain West Conference poll. But today, they have posted an opportunity to take over first place in this conference play. With me, my broadcasting partner, Glenn Parker. And Glenn, we're going to see an explosive offense by BYU, directed by quarterback John Beck.
Yeah, John Beck comes off being named National All-American Player of the Week last week. Now, all of his numbers from the previous 5 weeks, he could have had that same award. He's a field general. When I say that, Gary, he stands tall in the pocket, has the ability to look off safeties and make the strike.
Well, one thing about BYU now is they're vastly improved on defense, allowing the fewest points in 18 years.
Speed at linebacker, Brian Keel there, Cameron Jensen here. They're able to make plays side to side on the defense. They take on the attitude of their head coach, Bronco Mendenhall.
Now, Air Force comes in here, the nation's 3rd leading rushing team. They're directed by Sean Carney.
Well, Sean Carney, Chad Hall, whoever gets the ball, whoever runs, it's a tradition at Air Force to run the ball. They have been ranked in the top 10 nationally 22 of the last 23 years. It's about attitude, and it's about running the ball at Air Force.
Now, the Falcons' defense is the best they've had in some time. They're improved in every statistical category.
Well, they are. They have good defensive speed, but they're led by Gilberto Perez. He is their emotional leader, he's their spiritual leader, and he's getting it done physically as well.
These 2 teams were in a shootout a year ago. 103 points scored in the game, the highest scoring game in conference history. The Cougars and Falcons next on Versus.
The last sound you hear before you step on the field. Click, clack. I think the air is coming. Quick, clack.
Click, clack. Click, clack.
I think the air is coming.
Hi, I'm Chad Erickson. I'm an animation student at Brigham Young University. We just won a Student Emmy Award for our film Faux Pas. It's about a curious cat who gets into some trouble on the internet.
Very dangerous things on the internet.
Faux Pas is now part of a national internet safety campaign with McGruff, the crime dog. It's an important project for BYU because we're able to make a great film, and hopefully we can help to keep children safe.
Excuse me. So what exactly are you guys?
Sneakers, baby. Vintage 1985 high tops, limited edition. Old school.
Wow, you guys sound pretty cool.
You know how I roll.
So how's the postal carrier gonna handle all you guys?
It's all good. The lady drives a big truck.
Wow.
With lots of room in the truck, the post office comes to you with free package pickup.
Shearing, enemy of engines. Enemy of sharing, Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, with adaptive molecules that continually separate and reform to help conquer the forces that can tear oil molecules apart. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Mountain West Football on Versus is brought to you by Under Armour. The advantage is undeniable. Welcome to Falcon Stadium at the base of the Rampart Range of the Rocky Mountains, and you just heard a F-15 Eagle come screaming over and the flyover here at the Air Force Academy. Well, this area was hit hard Thursday with the snowstorm, and with the story, here's R.G. Stathopoulos.
It's hard to believe that 2 days ago there was 2 feet of snow on this field, 3 to 4 foot snow drifts. It paralyzed the city, and the academy closed, something that hadn't been done in 9 years. Coach Fisher DeBerry was stuck at home during the snowstorm, emailed his team and said, hey guys, take the time off and just review tape. Captains had a different idea. They held practice to use the scripts in the previous 2 days because they knew this was a big game. For BYU, it was business as usual. They flew in yesterday and just went to the hotel. So right now it's sunny, blue skies, and 55. Gary?
I tell you, what a difference. All of us fought our way in here, and what a gorgeous day. Air Force won the toss. They have deferred. This is Bronco Mendenhall in his second year, only 40 years old, 8th youngest coach in the nation. Kicking off is going to be Sasser for Air Force. Mickle is back. Nathan Mickle is going to bring it out, and he'll bring it out to the 17-yard line, and BYU will set it up there. So we've talked a lot about John Beck, the leading candidate for the Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Year. He's the conference's all-time leader in touchdown passes with 63, leads the nation with a 70% completion rate. In the last 3 games, he's thrown 11 touchdown passes, and he is playing with the utmost confidence as he'll start from the 19-yard line. BYU coming in are unbeaten in conference play, 4 wins in a row. Tonga and Brown, the running backs alongside John Beck. First snap of the game, Curtis Brown had 148 yards a week ago, gets out to the 24-yard line. This BYU team really has come together, and one of the reasons is they have outstanding weapons. Harleen, last year caught 64 passes as a tight end. And Mickle, who is an outstanding student with a 3.8 GPA, is one of their tough inside receivers. Up front, they average 6'4", 317 pounds. Caraces, their best lineman at that right tackle spot. Second down, 5 yards to go now for the Cougars. Beck is back, got time, over the middle, wide open. Harleen, the big tight end, has the catch and a first down to the 45. That's his 25th catch of the year, the All-Mountain West Conference tight end of a year ago.
Well, this is simple, Gary. You put your tight end right over the middle. He gets on the second level. When you can get into the second level with that much space, it gives your quarterback a great opportunity to throw an unimpeded ball.
And so the first down now will set it up. That will set it up at the 47-yard line. As Beck, they have really gotten started well. The last 6 games they have scored on their first possession. Brown and Vakapuna in the backfield. Beck wanting to scramble, doesn't run a lot. Now running around to the 49 and drop there. That's what they want to make him do, is run today. Julian Madrid over to make the stop for the Air Force. So Beck is one of those guys who will stay in the pocket, and the Falcons today, one of the keys they felt was to get him to run around a little bit.
Not a mobile guy, doesn't throw well on the run. He moves well in the pocket short term, but if you can make him run, not accurate throwing the ball.
Second down and 8 now as he picked up a couple of yards scrambling around to the 49-yard line. Tonga and Brown in the backfield. John Beck has 2 receivers, top of the field, hands off. It's going to be Brown. Brown, the senior, able to back his way to the 46-yard line of Air Force. It'll be third down. You look at this Air Force team. They are led by the guy that Glenn alluded to earlier, Gilberto Perez. He's been hurt a lot, but he is a big leader up front. Thomas, a senior, has been like a fire plug up front defensively. And their linebacking core is led by Drew Fowler. Most of the year, he's led the conference in tackles, and Giannini, he's the guy that gets them lined up in the secondary. Third down now, 4 yards to go. three wideouts. Beck looks off the receiver, far side to Curtis Brown, and he's got to get the first down. Brown across the 40 to the 38-yard line. Brown with his 36th catch of the year.
Well, Air Force did something here. They only rushed 2 linemen at all, 2 rushers. They dropped 9 back. If you're going to drop 9, you have to keep everything in front of you and come up and make a tackle. When his force goes too far outside, the ability for Curtis Brown to step inside and gain those extra yards gets the first down. Unacceptable when you drop 9.
BYU comes in here averaging over 36 points a game. The last 3 games, they've averaged 43. Back under the late handoff. Fui Vakapuna. And Vakapuna, big, strong guy who missed last week's game with an ankle, able to get a couple of yards on the play. It'll bring up a second down. They miss Vakapuna, his toughness. This team really responds to him emotionally.
Well, he's a guy that's kind of changed the face of the running game of BYU. He's able to break tackles, arm tackles specifically, and in the spread, that gives you a power running game that's not normally considered a part of the spread offense.
And so Tonga joins Vakapuna in the backfield on a second down and 8 now for John Beck. Initial series of the game. Beck is back, got a lot of time, too much time as far as Air Force is concerned. Still looking around, now throws the ball up the field and incomplete. Beautiful coverage at time in the secondary by Air Force.
Well, you drop 8 guys into coverage. This is what they wanted to do with John Beck. Keep the coverage so that John Beck has to move around. This is just a coverage play. Look at 3 guys rushing hard, 1 guy kind of spying, make John Beck move. Now he has to move, find a guy on the run, and when he does that, he's not as accurate. It's exactly what Air Force talked about yesterday when we talked to the coaches. Make him see things maybe that aren't there.
And so Beck has a 3rd down and 8 yards to go. He looks to the sideline. He's got the play called as they are changing the play. You can see the offensive line, how big it is for BYU, and they are much bigger than Air Force, but that's always the case for the Falcons. They're always smaller. Here is Beck now being flushed out. Now steps back up, throws it, completes it, and the catch by Vakapuna, and he got the first down. Now there is a great read by Beck. He looked one way, found a man open, and he got the first down.
Well, he got the first down. I'll tell you the reason. If you're going to watch this, I want you to take a look. Coming in from the right side of your screen, Zach Colley, number 85, plays a perfect block coming in right there. That block spurs the first down. Great job of vision and a great job of blocking down the field by your wide receivers. That's why they get that first down.
3rd and 8, and they deliver. First down now at the Falcons' 26-yard line. As Tonga in the backfield along with Vakapuna. 2 receivers split to the near side of the field. Harleen is like a wide receiver, playing tight end, split out, gives it to Tonga. Tonga, strong guy, takes it inside the 20-yard line. There's a flag. He's dropped at the 19. Manasseh Tonga, sophomore out of San Mateo, California. They use him a lot because he's such a good blocker, picks up all of the blitzes. Can have an illegal block against BYU. And there's Rich Colin for the Mountain West Conference.
Now you're going to watch big Travis Bright, 74, coming out here. This is what he does. Look at Tonga, stays on the outside hip, cuts back under. If the penalty wasn't there, you got a great run because Tonga's got recognition skills. He understands relationship to his.
Number 80 on the offense, 15 yards, spot of the foul, replay, first down.
He understands recognition of where he's supposed to be in relationship to his big tackle. Now, a block coming in from the right-hand side there is below the waist. I don't see it. It's not on our tape, but those refs kind of know what they're doing.
McKay Jacobson, the true freshman, the guy guilty of that illegal block, so they'll back it up now. And it's going to bring up a 1st and 18. Vakapuna in the backfield along with John Beck. 3 times a Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Week, and he completes it to Nickel. Nickel, a big, tough inside guy, makes the catch at the 19. A senior out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. He is a National Scholar Athlete, a semifinalist.
Well, this is a 2-level pass. It's tough to see, but underneath it's a drag route. What that does is open up the middle so that you can throw right down the middle. When you run a drag, linebackers have to kind of separate to cover ground horizontally. That's why they call it the spread. When that happens, that seam right down the middle comes wide open for Mickle to get that ball.
2nd down and 8. They get 10 yards on the play. Seminoff has come in. Joe Seminoff, number 27, is the backfield, the lead back in this offset eye. Rex still has the football. BYU on their initial series of the game. Vakapuna drags the tackler. He's not going to get the first down. It's going to be third. Jared Marvin is there to make the stop for Air Force. And so another third down. Now, you look at these two teams, both of them are very good on third down. Air Force is #1 in the country. This team is second in the Mountain West Conference, 11th in the country.
Yeah, both of these teams do the job of getting themselves into manageable third downs. 3rd and 2, your entire offensive playbook's open to you right now.
So 3rd down 2. Air Force somehow trying to get this BYU offense off the field. You can see thus far in the red zone what they've been able to do. This BYU team is doing a lot of things well during this 4-game winning streak. Here's a handoff now to Brown. Brown's got the first down and first and goal to the 10-yard line. Quick burst by Brown, who last year had 219 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns against Air Force.
Designed cutback and or belly. What he's done is the whole offensive line blocked right, fullback and running back go to the left. Just a good job of understanding where the defense is playing you to your strength and running back off of it.
And so they continue the drive. They have a first and goal at the 10. Simonoff and Tonga in the backfield. Well orchestrated by John Beck, really mixing it up well. This time he's going to hand off to Tonga. Tonga, he fights his way close to the 5, and he'll be knocked down there. It'll bring up 2nd and goal. That was Grant Thomas, the nose guard, there to make the stop.
Well, this is the same play we saw earlier they had the penalty on. They pull big Travis Bright, the right guard, out, get him running. Tonga has the recognition skills, understands the relationship with him, cuts back in. They got 6 or 8 yards the last time, except for the penalty. Come right back to it, get themselves 3 or 4 this time.
Fisher DeBerry in his 23rd year as head coach, looking on pensively, hoping somehow to make them settle for a field goal. 2nd down coming up. Akapuna and Tonga in the I formation backfield. Drive taking a lot of time. We now have 8 minutes left here in the first quarter of play. Handoff comes to Vakapuna. He's been a good goal line guy, fights his way. He's close. Touchdown, BYU. This guy scored a touchdown in each of the first 4 games. He's their goal line guy.
Well, what do we say about Vakapuna? The ability to break tackles. He's changed the face of this spread offense. He has made it more of a power running game. And when you can get a guy like Vakapuna, look at here, he will make people break. He'll break these tackles. There's 1, there's 2, and he keeps driving the leg drive, holds the ball over. Great recognition of where he's got to go with that ball.
And so BYU on the initial series of the game has taken a 6-0 lead. Point after attempt is on the way, and it's good by Jared McLaughlin. And so for the 7th straight game, BYU scores on their first possession, and they lead it 7-0.
Custom, it's my middle name. Got my own special pen, tricked out my ride. Here's my latest creation, an HP DV2000T. I added an optional TV tuner card so I can record and watch my favorite shows. And I can play back movies, music, and photos with this optional remote that tucks right inside. Cool, huh?
The HP Pavilion DV2000T Entertainment Notebook with Intel Centrino Dual mobile technology. Visit HP.com today to customize one that's right for you.
Homeowners, want to get cash and simplify your bills? Ask about a combo loan from Countrywide. It's a refi that you could use to combine your first mortgage, your second mortgage, your car loan, and all your high-rate credit card debt into one easy loan with one low monthly payment. It could save you hundreds every month. Call America's #1 home loan lender now and ask for a combo loan. No one can do what Countrywide can. Apply now.
Call 1-800-641-8734.
Bronco Mendenhall has to be happy. That was a 14-play, 81-yard drive. Took over 7 minutes, 7 minutes and 7 seconds. They were 3 for 3 on 3rd down, and Curtis Brown had 40 yards combined running and catching on that drive. And so now kicking off will be McLaughlin for BYU, and Jim Ollis will go back for the deep man for Air Force. 7-0 BYU. And there'll be no return here. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And so, Sean Carney, who's his third year as a starter for Air Force, will come onto the field. He was the first freshman to start a quarterback in 18 years for Fisher DeBerry. First ever to start on opening day. As he goes, so goes Air Force. As Sean Carney is a very strong runner, they've asked him to take a stronger role in the running game. Earlier this year, he had a career-high 131 yards rushing against Wyoming.
I would not be surprised to see play-action pass first down to loosen up the speed of these linebackers.
Kendrick, the fullback, who is now healthy, and that's good news for Air Force's end. And Kendrick is going to get the first carry of the game as the senior able to pound it forward. He had a big game last week. The problem with him, Jacoby Kendrick, is he has not been able to stay healthy. As you look at this offense, this is a team that runs the ball very well, led by Chad Hall. He leads the Mountain West Conference, averaging over 81 yards a game. Victor Thompson, their go-to receiver. Up front, Cray. He has NFL possibilities. Big, 6'8" senior, their best offensive lineman. This time it'll be Kendrick again, and Kendrick able to get a first down. He fires across the 30 to the 32. When the fullbacks for Air Force play well, and when they get 100 yards from that position, they're 43-12 through Fisher DeBerry's career. Now Dulan is out. He is out. He broke his leg in practice this week, and they will miss him. A 17-year-old true freshman, and he will not play today. Jorgensen has been playing well at the other end. And Nixon and Keel, watch those two guys. They can fly.
Speed at the linebacker court, Gary. They will fly around and make plays.
First down now from the 32, a flag on the play as Carney keeps the ball. Going to be shoved down at the 35. But a flag came up almost the moment the ball was snapped.
Offsides, defense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And so it'll be a 1st and 5 now as let's see if we can pick it up. There it is.
Yep, the nose jumps right on him. Now, here's the thing. If you're an offense that prides itself on 4 yards every play, particularly from the first 2 downs, you get 5 right there.
Yep.
Not bad.
1st and 5 now. Air Force trying to answer that initial series by BYU. Beautifully thrown pass to Victor Thompson. And Carney, who a lot of people feel is the most accurate passer they've ever had here at Air Force. They had a guy by the name of Mike Thiessen who was pretty good, really threw this well.
Yeah, they're still running the option motion, but what they're doing is they're putting pressure horizontally on BYU's defense, the corners and outside linebackers. They want to do that so that they can run the ball effectively now when they come back with it, because their corners have to then figure out that they're going to have to cover as well.
12-yard pickup on the play. Victor Thompson now has caught a ball in 10 consecutive games. First down for Air Force. They have it at the 49-yard line. Quick pitch comes back to Chad Hall. He's going to be snuffed for a loss. Back at the 45, Ben Criddle, who leads his team in solo tackles, is there. Now let's take a look at the Under Armour advantage, Mr. Parker.
Well, when you talk BYU, you're talking size and their speed. Speed defensively, size on the lines. Air Force, number 1, discipline. We know that from an academy team, but attitude. They will not stop playing no matter the score, the situation. They will get it done.
They came back last year in the game when they were down 41-7 and actually kept the game within manageable range. Here's now Carney back to throw, and that ball is dropped. Should have been caught. Bo Suter was the guy who was open, would have had the grab at about the midfield stripe. Aaron Wagner defending on the play, and so Carney, who needs all the help he can get today, will now have a 3rd down.
This is a post corner route at the top, and that opens up the underneath route. This little drag opens it up well, but unfortunately Suter just can't get it. He's open, though, because of the way they flood the zone up top.
Suter out of Laramie, Wyoming. His dad is the wrestling coach at the University of Wyoming. He's played very well this year. A senior, had a touchdown catch at Wyoming this year. 3rd down now. Quarterback draw. Carney, he's to the 45. First down to the 40, and Sean Carney and takes it to the 37 of BYU. Air Force first down. Ben Criddle on the tackle for the Cougars.
How important is a 3rd and 13 for Air Force? Look at the offensive line open the holes. They purposely get beat to one side. That allows this hole to open up into a gaping fashion. Linebackers have dropped back. Look at these linemen. They all go one way. linebackers are way out of the play. Great blocking down the field by tight ends and wide receivers. Results in a big gain.
Has 17-yard gain to be complete about it as Kendrick now takes it to the 35-yard line. So Air Force is responding well. And what we're seeing in this game, both teams with ball possession, time of possession a big factor for Air Force. Both teams now have had the ball one time, and we're inside 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Everything right now is falling into exactly what Air Force wanted to do. They want to control the ball offensively. They want to limit big plays against BYU, make them drive long drives, eat up clock.
Second down coming up now. Second down and 7. Here's Carney wanting to throw on target and drop. So 2 drops now. Victor Thompson this time. And so that hurt. Let's go down now. And Archie, I must say, you picked a good day to be doing a football game.
I did luck out. Well, over the last couple years, Air Force has had a really hard time holding on to the ball. They had 28 fumbles last year and lost 14. So first year's running back coach Jamal Singleton implemented the Tiki Tuck after Tiki Barber. High and tight to the sky, holding at a 45-degree angle. Has it worked? Air Force has only lost 5 fumbles so far this season.
We'll get more on that, RG. There's a couple other things. At 45-degree angle, you tuck it in. Tiki Barber, of course, with the Giants, does not fumble the ball. There's Chad Hall. The one thing you need to add, RG, as you were talking about earlier, you got to keep that elbow in.
Got to tuck it in. It's the Tiki Tuck. 45-degree angle, 3 points of pressure. Great job, RG.
She's got it figured out, doesn't she?
She does.
Okay, now it's going to bring up a 4th down for Air Force after that carry to the 31-yard line. And it looks to me like they're going to go for it.
Well, it's a tough situation. You're talking a very long field goal. If you miss it, you give up great field position. If you get positive yards, you either get the first or at least you've gotten a couple more yards over a missed field goal.
4 and a long 3 now. And Fisher is saying we're going for it. Carney now changing the play at the line of scrimmage. There's Carney now giving straight ahead to Kendrick. Kendrick, ball came out. It's been fumbled. We just talked about trying to have the Tiki Tuck, and all of a sudden the ball comes loose, and BYU says they have it. They would anyway on downs because I don't think Kendrick got the first down.
It was very close one way or another, but listen, ball security, turnovers in tight games, that's what will push the game one way or another, and BYU comes up with the first big hit. Let's take a look here. See if he ever actually has the ball. I don't know if he ever had the ball. It looked like it got knocked out very early.
And so the turnover is a ball to BYU. They have it at the 29. Fisher DeBerry's team trails 7-0.
Pass.
Second down 10 now. Carney coming into the game and only attempted 60 passes. That's one game for John Beck. Here's Carney back to throw. Hit as the ball's up in the air, intercepted. Picked up Aaron Wagner on the deflection, came up with it. And it was Keel who put the pressure on, and Wagner has started every game. He's a Canadian, came up with the pick on that ball that was jarred loose from Sean Carney.
Well, not only has Air Force had 2 possessions, they've had 2 turnovers. Great defense, getting up in front. And what do we talk about linebackers? Good speed side to side, recognition skills. That's just a good job of turning your body when you're in motion, having that athletic ability, and getting around on the ball.
Boy, Carney really took a shot that time, Glenn, as he got rid of it. I mean, he got hit around the shoulder pads. Wagner very alertly came up with it. His first interception of the year. So Fisher DeBerry's team now have to regroup. As at the 44 of Air Force, that's where BYU has the ball. And this time it's going to be Tonga, and Tonga is going to be thrown for a loss. Good reaction. That's Grant Thomas. You can't say enough about guys like Grant Thomas. I mean, he's a blue-collar guy. He's out of Clovis, California. This guy wants to be an astronaut, and he's been accepted for pilot training after he graduates. Don't ever say it couldn't happen.
I'm telling you, it's so impressive. Every one of these Air Force Academy players, football is such a minor part of their lives, and yet they play it with such dedication. It's great to see.
Loss of 2 to bring up second down and 12 now. Vakapuna in the backfield along with Beck. Beck with time now, scrambling out, throws up the field to Harleen, and Harleen makes a catch, and that'll be a first down at the 32. Harleen is a big wide receiver tight end who's 6'4", 240 pounds.
Well, they only rush 2 linemen. They bring 1 linebacker right up the middle. Where does Beck go with this? Right to the middle. The void where the linebacker came is where Harleen sat down. That's why that play gets so successful.
Harleen is the guy who they say is like a Shannon Sharp type tight player who can play that split tight end spot. Here's a pass complete, and the catch is to Mawika. Bryce Mawika. Mawika thunders inside the 20, gets another first down, and all of a sudden now Beck is stretching the Air Force defense sideline to sideline.
This is the most impressive throw I've seen Beck make. He puts it right on the back hip of his receiver so that he can continue running with the ball. That is an impressive throw. I want you to watch where this ball hits. Watch out right there. If you can continue running and have your eyes down the field after you catch it, that's just a great job. He ought to credit John Beck with a phenomenal throw for him.
So Mawika able to negotiate the 17-yard line. Tonga comes back in. Beck's going to be playing on Sundays. He's got a rocket for an arm, great poise, great confidence. Here it is. He's going to scramble to the 15, gets to the 10. He'll be dropped. It'll be to the 8-yard line, about a yard first of a first and goal. And let's go down to the sideline. Here's Archie.
Well, we've heard his name all day long, John Beck. We know that he was the player of the week, All-America player of the week, but he doesn't forget how he started. His first 3 snaps as a Cougar quarterback, he had a sack, he fumbled, and an interception. But luckily for him, the nationally televised game lost its feed, and the only people that actually saw those 3 mistakes were the people at the stadium. I'll finish the story in just a minute.
There it is, remarkable. We had a great visit with him, Archie. We'll get more on that as we now have a second down, a long yard pass complete. Touchdown, Michael Reed, who last year caught 5 passes, 103 yards for a touchdown against this Air Force team. And now it's a 13-0 game. And Archie, John Beck actually got some condolences from some of the friends, and one of those turned out to be his eventual wife.
That's right. She called him and said, "It's okay, it doesn't matter." He said it was his girlfriend at the time, and now it's his wife. All of his friends said, "What happened the first 3 snaps of the game?" And he said he kind of downplayed it. But as you can see there, he is a great quarterback, and it has really helped him to be a tougher quarterback those 3 years as he struggled.
And he is now one of the best in the country. Obviously, the point after by McLaughlin. I like John Beck because he's a hunter. We talked about our hunting exploits. I should say his exploits. He actually shot a deer. 14-0.
You know, if you're having a bunch of guys over to watch synchronized swimming, forget it. Just serve them weenies. But if you're watching football, you better be grilling Johnsonville brats. Look at them. They're big, fresh, always juicy, and perfect with that other home team favorite. When you give the fans what they want, well, welcome to football party heaven. Welcome to Johnsonville.
Next weekend, Football Nation is on CSTV. It's an 8-10 showdown in New England as New Hampshire takes on UMass. Then it's Tulsa and Houston, featuring one of the nation's best pass defenses trying to put a stop to one of the country's top passing attacks. And the night ends in West Virginia as the thundering herd of Marshals square up against an inspired Tulane team. It's a football triple-header, only on CSTV. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
Heat. Enemy of engines. Enemy of heat? Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, with adaptive molecules that continually separate and reform to help conquer heat. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
BYU now has posted a 14-0 lead as John Beck just a moment ago moving that team 44 yards on 5 plays after the turnover. There he is. Beck with 63 touchdown passes at the start of the day, which is an all-time conference record. Just added another one. This kickoff will not be returned, and Air Force will have it at the 20-yard line. So Air Force has been their own worst enemy. They've had 2 turnovers and 2 possessions. The last one setting up that touchdown. Let's go back and look at it, Glenn.
Well, it's a double slant. What happens, the inside guy runs a slant, that draws this man back. So this slant is wide open. Take a look at this. Right there. What you do is it's a double level slant. You put indecision in the face of the safety and the corner. When that happens, it's an easy throw for the quarterback.
Michael Reed, just a sophomore out of Baytown, Texas, with the catch. Here is Kendrick now trying to get something going for Air Force. Well, last year they got behind in this game early and ended up trailing 41-7. But boy, this is not a kind of team you want to get too far behind because BYU is explosive. Air Force needing some success now as they will now have a second down coming up and 8 yards to go from their own 22-yard line. Kendrick remains in at fullback, and now Carney's changing the play. This Air Force team, you know they will not quit. There's no quit in this academy team. I mean, they will fight you to the very end. Here's a handoff, and it's Kendrick. And Kendrick gets some good yardage this time, out to the 29. He's about a yard short of the first down. Jacoby Kendrick grew up in Texas, Midland, Texas, Lee High School. He blocked for Cedric Benson, who, of course, played at the University of Texas, and now with the Chicago Bears.
Well, I'll tell you, Air Force just needs to settle down, have a nice drive, get some points. 3 or 7, doesn't matter. You'd love 7. Eat some clock and score some points.
You know what Kendrick's favorite class is at the Air Force Academy?
What's that, Gary?
Calculus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you would have liked that an awful lot at the University of Arizona. There is a handoff to Kendrick again, and that adds up to a first down.
I don't even like saying the word, Gary.
Can you spell it?
No, probably not. Here you go. Fullback in. This is what they're doing, and this is a perfect example. You see the hole that was created. It's a midline option, meaning that they're actually running the fullback over the center gap instead of over the tackle gap. It brings everything back to the speed then of your front side and backside, opening those huge gaps for the fullback.
So Kendrick trying to stabilize this offense a little bit. He's got it again, and he's going to upend it as he gets a couple of yards on the play. Air Force just trying to get something back, get some success going after they've been stunned here early, trailing 14-0.
And this is a little G blocking schemes. What you get is you get an offensive lineman G'ing around, but against the speed of these linebackers, Cameron Jensen, great job understanding where he's got to be and where his assignment is. It's going to be tough for Arizona to run, for Air Force, to run the ball side to side horizontally. They've got to go back to that midline option to make these linebackers stay where they're at.
Second down and 8 now. Carney back, look out, pressure coming, and he's going to be dropped for a loss back at the 35. I tell you, the pressure coming off the wings, and that is Brian Keel. You know, we saw him earlier this year against TCU. We could not get over how fast he is.
Chad Hall cuts him, but he doesn't cut him well enough, doesn't get him down. Ryan Keel, one leg down, is able to get up off the ground, and because he does that, they get this big hit on the quarterback.
Boy, that's a big loss. It'll bring up third down now, 11 yards to go. Keel, a junior out of Salt Lake City, a guy who is just right now playing as well as anybody in the conference. Plays all over the field. So Air Force needs to convert here on third down. Carney hands off. It's Kendrick. Kendrick is not going to get the first down. They had a long ways to go. They had 10, almost 11 yards, and he's going to be a couple of yards short. It'll be a fourth down.
Very tough for Air Force on the loss. What happens if they can continue to run the midline option, meaning that they're trying to run in the 1 or 2 gap over the center and over the guard, that negates the speed of the linebackers. That allows your fast guys to get up on the linebackers and get hits, get in their face. That's how you're going to get yardage.
And now to punt the football is going to be Zach Sasser. Back deep is Mickle. Mickle is third in the conference in punt returns. Not a good punt. He hit it off the side of his foot, bounces back up to the field, takes a BYU bounce clear back out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. And so a short field for BYU, who leads this game 14-0.
Where did it?
Hi, I'm Chad Erickson. I'm an animation student at Brigham Young University. We just won a Student Emmy Award for our film Faux Pas. It's about a curious cat who gets into some trouble on the internet.
Very dangerous things on the internet.
Faux Pas is now part of a national internet safety campaign with McGruff, the crime dog. It's an important project for BYU because we're able to make a great film, and hopefully we can help to keep children safe.
From Walt Disney Pictures.
Dad, help me!
Quiet!
Let's go find my son.
3 comes the biggest adventure to ever hit the Big Apple.
Who put that bar there?
Showtime!
What a strange place for a party.
Ow! Times Square.
How you doing?
Meets the Circle of Life.
Help! I got Ryan sent!
Doesn't anyone knock anymore?
The Wild.
CD USA. It's the biggest music event of the year. CD USA. Every week.
The most exciting acts in the world, back to back to back, all in one show. Coming up this week, Corinne Bailey-Rae, Kevin Federline, Rob Zombie, Lupe Fiasco, and a whole lot more. CD USA, only on DirecTV, Channel 101.
BYU trying to win their 5th in a row, up 14-0. John Beck has just been very impressive in the early going. He is 9 of 10 for 107 yards. He was able to distribute the ball very effectively to quite a few different receivers. He just threw his 64th touchdown toss of his career as he hit Reed to make it a 14-0 game. There's an 11-yard scramble, and there's a touchdown catch by Reed, and BYU of the football with 6:04 to go in the second quarter.
And you know what? Air Force went out there, did a great job of driving the ball down, winning back a little field position, and then a horrific punt gives BYU great field position.
A horrific punt with 36 yards, and Sasser has been very good for Air Force, punting the ball as well as being their place kicker. Did not get that one going well at all, and so a short field for the Cougars. And we have an explanation here, getting the clock all set, ready to go. They put 20 seconds back on. 6:20 to go, fast-moving first half, and Broncos got to like what's happening thus far. His team up 14-0. Tonga and Bakapuna in the backfield. Beck on a play action. Gets it out to Dan Coates, their backup tight end, and he's got a first down. And this guy is a load. Coates weighs 263 pounds, a senior out of Layton, Utah, and he just carried some people with him.
Well, this is naked. Run hard one way, bring your quarterback out without any protection the other way. It's a great job of misdirection because it puts the onus on the linebacker to read fast and try to get back out there. Great job by BYU of getting that open.
What a 1-2 punch they have in Harleen and Coates, the tight end. Both of them bring different things to the package. Handoff now goes to Brown. Curtis Brown across the 50 as they chew up some more yardage to the 48 of Air Force. Hey, you think getting hit by a 300-pound lineman is tough? Try getting on the back of a 1-ton raging bull. The best riders in the world try to hang on for 8 seconds. And the not-to-be-missed BBR Built Ford Tough World Finals, live from Vegas tonight at 9 on Versus. John Beck, Glenn, in this game has completed passes to 8 different receivers.
Credit the offensive coordinator for understanding got to have balance at all phases of the game.
And over the middle to Reed, he had him open, and he overshot him. Now, John Beck has a terrific arm. I mean, he can make every throw. They have that old expression, a bazooka for an arm. He's got that kind of an arm.
Well, he's got time. It's a good little play action. Now, here's the problem. He's thrown underneath all day today. He really hasn't thrown deep. That's his first deep ball. It's overthrown. You can see he's pretty upset. He knows he let 6 points get away from him.
And they had 9 straight completions prior to that attempt up the middle. Third down coming up. Air Force somehow trying to get the ball back. 5:12 to go in the first quarter. BYU's outscored their opponents, you can see, in the first half by an unbelievable margin, and up 14-0 right now. Here is Beck being flushed out, throws it, completes it. Reed, first down, and BYU on a third down converts again. They have it to the 29 of Air Force.
What Air Force is doing, when they're rushing 3, they're trying to get in the lanes, and I want you to watch. They're trying to get lanes so that Beck has to move and throw on the run. And because the offensive line's doing such a good job of shutting down the tricks, Beck has wide open all day to throw. Easy for him to find his receivers down the field.
John Beck is just wheeling and dealing. He is just doing exactly what he wants, sitting back there and picking apart Air Force right now. He's got a first down at the 29-yard line. Simonoff and Tonga in the backfield along the senior from Mesa, Arizona. Simonoff with the ball. He doesn't get that many carries till the 25 to the 22. So Simonoff getting some playing time. As junior out of Layton, Pennsylvania. That's only his 5th carry of the year.
What a great job he does on that play right there. What he did is he's running. He's got big Jake Caressa out in front of him. I want you to watch big 73 Jake Caressa. So watch him dip in here. He dips in, comes back out, sets up a great block by Caressa, and that gets him 6 or 7 extra yards. That's understanding the relationship he's supposed to have with his pulling guard or tackle.
Second down now and a short 2 for BYU. 2 big guys, Tonga and Bakapuna in the backfield. John Beck taking his time. We approach 4 minutes to go in the first half. BYU up by 14 and trying to add to that. Here is Tonga. Tonga to the 20, lowers his head, and he's got the first down. I'll tell you, they are punishing. You look at Manase Tonga and Fui Vakapuna, two guys who they'll just beat you up as the game wears on.
Well, they each weigh over 230 pounds, so they understand if they get their shoulders going north and south, it's tough to stop them. So what are they understand also that what I have to do is find the gap where my big guys are going to give me a hole. Might not always be where it's designed to go, but good enough recognition skills to see this is where I have to run. I can run through a tackle. I'm a big guy. Air Force, traditionally undersized here.
In the red zone again is BYU. They have it at the 17-yard line. Beck now from the gun, throws complete, intended for Curtis Brown. They were not on the same page there. Brown was wide open. Beck, I think, was expecting him to cut it up the field and make a move to the ball.
Well, this is twice Beck has overthrown an open receiver back-to-back almost, and had him there. I don't know if it's a miscommunication, but what I do know is John Beck's got to think to himself, twice now I've missed wide open receivers.
He is human, right? Once in a while he can't miss on a pass. The guy is just absolutely playing scintillating football. That's going to bring up now second down and 10 yards to go. They get a first and goal at the 8 as they send a man in motion. That man is Coates. He makes the catch. Coates to the 10, and he just pounds his way inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Coates was the guy who exploded on the scene as a freshman. Remember this? They played third-ranked Southern Cal, and he caught 8 passes for 114 yards in that game. And I said at the time, this guy's got greatness. It hasn't really come around, but he's still a solid player.
Now they run this type of, it's really a screen. It's whether it's a tight end or a running back. We saw it earlier when they did it, when they threw out there to the running back. This time it's to the tight end, and what it does, gives you an opportunity to get yards automatically. It's a 5-yard handoff is what it is.
Third down now, and a yard to go for a first and goal. Seminoff is back in. It's going to be instead Brown, and Brown has a first and goal just short of the 5-yard line. And I tell you, this Air Force defense has got to be huffing and puffing a little bit. They're superbly conditioned, but they've been on the football field most of this first half.
Defense relies on reaction. Reaction is much more tiring than playing offense, where you know where you're going. They've been on the field a long time. They're undersized against a very big BYU team. Size is starting to come into play already in this game.
So now they have a first and goal at the 6. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Seminoff, the lead back in the eye, ahead of Vakapuna. Vakapuna, as we mentioned before, their goal line runner. He has 6 rushing touchdowns, goes over the top and slammed down hard. I mean, he just started walking on top of people and goes down at about the 3. It'll be second and goal there.
Well, you take a look. This is the lead. He cuts it back, and when he cuts it back, that step right there, trying to get over one defender, very good job right there, getting up and over the top. Unfortunately, not enough balance to come up running and get in the ground.
Boy, he took a shot. He comes out of the game now. It's going to be second and goal at the 4-yard line as they have Brown and Seminoff in the backfield. 1:53 left in the quarter. BYU gets a touchdown here. It's really going to put Air Force in a hole going into the halftime. And the handoff comes to Brown. He trips and goes down at the 1. It'll be third and goal at the 1-yard line.
Well, with the size of BYU here, pretty obvious you go with Vakapuna. Pretty obvious that you let them run. But, you know, one thing about BYU with their balance, they're not always going to do the obvious thing.
And so this BYU team has been a fast-starting team. We mentioned they're fast-starting. Air Force has not been. They've scored only 10 points total in the last 2 games of the first half. Now find themselves down 14-0, maybe more. As the man you just talked about, Vakapuna's come back in. Seminoff, Tonga, all the elephant backs in the backfield now. And Beck, play action, fake, rolling, throws end zone, touchdown, and that's Harleen, the tight end, as he fooled everybody with that fake up the middle.
Well, I'll tell you, they didn't do what we thought, just as, you know, we kind of mentioned they might. Beck had number 1 receiver covered. You take a look as he rolls. He'll roll and he looks. Number 1's covered. Number 2's covered. He comes back inside to Harleen over the middle. A lot of people consider that a dangerous throw because you're throwing back across your body and into the flow of the defense. John Beck's got the arm to do it, but credit his vision of understanding 1 is covered, 2 is covered, read my progression and find the open man.
Harleen with his 6th touchdown catch of the year. Jared McLaughlin adds a point after. And this BYU team receiving votes in the poll. starting to really get noticed, not only in the West, but throughout the country, up 21-0. Fisher DeBerry got a 60-yard punt, but BYU returned to 26 yards, a 34-yard net. As an end result, for the second time after Air Force has punted, BYU has a plus yardage situation, meaning they've started an Air Force's end of the field both times, this time for the 42-yard line. Akapuna and Tonga in the backfield, play action by Beck over the middle. Coates dropped it. Coates had it for a stride at the 20-yard line and could not hang on. Let's go down to RG.
Thanks, Gary. Well, you know, Glenn talked a little bit about Gilberto Perez, the defensive end for Air Force, and what a spiritual player he is, but he's also just a wonderful person. He grew up in humble beginnings, and he grew up in Cuba, and basically his family immigrated over here, and he wants to instill in young people that they can do and fulfill their dreams, whatever they are. So he and his brother, Sergio, who's actually playing minor league baseball right now, I'll pick it up right up after this.
Yeah, he is a spiritual leader. We'll talk more about that, Archie, in just a moment. Second down coming up. Handoff now to Vakapuna. He thunders to the 35, and let's go back down to Archie.
His brother Sergio, who's playing minor league baseball, and Gilberto actually started a college fund for his high school back in Tampa because he wants other kids to fulfill their lifelong dreams just like he has playing for the Air Force Academy. It's an inspirational story, and he's just an all-around great player to have on their defense.
And to follow up on that, he was the guy at halftime of the Colorado State game this year when the Falcons are down 21-7, gave a rousing talk at halftime, and the team credits Gilberto Perez with all of the impetus to come back and pull that game out. There's a pass knockdown, the first of the day, as Beck trying to throw to the near side, had that ball knocked down. A good defensive effort that time, and I think that was Perez, the guy that RG was just talking about.
You get a look here, and one thing, you know, when you talked about Perez, this is a good job of understanding, hey, I can't get there, I'll get my hands up, forming a picket fence, and that's why it gets knocked down. But like you said, at halftime, how rare is it? And I would tell you it's very rare for players, teammates, to point to one of their own teammates and say, he did something that inspired us. It's very rare among football players to have someone say that about another player.
This is going to be a field goal attempt, and this is going to be a 53-yard attempt by Jared McLaughlin. The kick is on the way. It's got enough distance, and it is good. And McLaughlin able to kick the field goal. That is a career long. He had a 50-yarder earlier this year against Boston College, and he just nailed one from 53.
Great leg, and what did we hear from Bronco yesterday? He said, we just want to score 24 points. That's our goal in games. Well, they're there, and they're there pretty fast, Gary.
They are there, as we have 11:08 left to go here in this third quarter of play. Jared McLaughlin, if you're wondering about him, is the oldest kicker in the nation. He's 26 years old, and he now has hit 9 of 12 field goals. We mentioned the 50-yarder against BC, 53 today. He had 3 field goals against Boston College, and this guy has really done a nice job for them. Came from the state of Alabama. Jared McLaughlin. So it's now 24-0, and so the Falcons find themselves even deeper in a hole as they will receive the kickoff for the second time. Ollis is back there. Ollis, a backup quarterback, who a year ago was actually a running back out of Columbus, North Carolina. And Air Force needing just something to jumpstart them. They need some success. Ollis now will back up, and there'll be no return there, and they'll bring it out the 20-yard line. I tell you, this McLaughlin's having a day. He has kicked every ball off into the end zone. He just kicked a career-long 53-yard field goal. Getting this high altitude, kickers love it, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. The ball travels a little farther, as we know. Whether it's baseball with the Rockies and now football here, you tend to see that.
So from the 20, Sean Carney and company will try to regroup, get something going. Kendrick will come back in at fullback. Air Force in a catch-up posture. We mentioned last year, though, in this game, they came back and they do it again. Carney comes out throwing, completes it to Thompson. Victor Thompson going to be shut down short of the 25-yard line. They get 4 on the play as Carney with a bullet that time to the far sideline. Thompson, a senior out of California, a guy who has been really steady. They call him Waffle House because he's always open, they said, on every play. Second down. Pitch, near side. That's Chad Hall. Hall dives forward and gets out to the 27-yard line. That'll bring up a third down now for the Falcons, but a couple of plays with some positive yardage for Fisher DeBerry.
Now here's a very good view of the speed of BYU's defense. It's Cameron Jensen, a linebacker, actually able to run down a running back from the inside out. Rarely seen.
And Chad Hall can run. He's one of their fastest players, just a different player than a year ago. Hit the weights all off-season to make himself a very good football player for the Falcons. Hand off to Kendrick. Kendrick on a third down. Did he get the first down? I think he did. Just got across the 30, and so Air Force now has a first down, and maybe that's a building block in this game.
Well, you know, it's funny. Football players look at things like that, exactly like you just said. It's a building block. It's one play at a time, one technique at a time. Halapong goes down, walking out as we see, getting a little gimpy there. But it's just one play at a time, one block at a time. That's all you can do. That's how you come back when you're way down.
And so they have the first down just across the 30-yard line as Air Force trailing 24-0. Air Force came in here after a disappointing loss at San Diego State last week. And here comes pressure up the middle against Kearney. Kearney rolling away from it, finding some time to run the ball. Comes up to the 35 and will be given the 36, almost the 37-yard line. It'll bring up a second down. Kearney is a guy we mentioned, started as a true freshman. First true freshman to start a quarterback in Air Force history. A guy who's had flashes of brilliance. This year they asked him to run the ball more, but he is also a very accurate passer. One of the best quarterbacks in Academy history. Second down, and still going to be 4 yards to go. Kendrick is the fullback, and it's Kearney on the keeper. Looks back and then able to roll up to about 39. Looked like for a moment, Glenn, he thought he had a follow man to pitch to.
It sure looked that way. It looked like there might have been a miscommunication, whether he forgot to put him in motion or whether he should have gone in motion. But you take a look here. There's the first option. He looks. And there's no one there. But you know what? That's how smart he is. Credit is smart. A lot of guys simply pitch the ball in that situation, except expecting the guy to be there. He actually looks first.
Now, if Air Force doesn't get a first down here, you wonder if they would go for it on fourth down. They just got to get something going. It's third down and a yard to go, and they will not have to make that decision because Kendrick gets a first down out to the 42. So again, Air Force trying to put some pieces together. 8:53 left to go. Thus far in this game, Air Force is 5 of 8 on third down, and they're not going to get a lot of possessions in this game. They got to make them all count right now.
Yeah, they'll be lucky right now to get 3 possessions without a turnover or a special teams play in the rest of this game. So they have to really make them count, Greg.
So from the 42 now, the Falcons have it. As Air Force next week will go to Army, then they play Notre Dame here. Here's a quick pitch to Hanley, Justin Hanley. Flag on the play. Hanley, this first carry of the game. The senior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, gets to the 45, a couple of yards, but a flag. Let's see what that's all about.
Offsides, defense, number 43, 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Well, that is the second time they've been offsides here. This is David Nixon.
Well, you have to assume that he just lined up offsides. We couldn't see the end of the line of scrimmage. You know, that's tough. That's a real tough call. Obviously, he feels his helmet was breaking the plane of the line of scrimmage, and therefore was the reason they got the offsides.
So it's going to be a 1st and 5 now for the guys from the United States Air Force Academy. 8:09 left in the game. You get the feeling if Air Force to get on the scoreboard, it would change the complexion of this game. Kearney back. Got some pressure coming. He's going to run with it now. To the 50, to the 45, to the 40. First down to the 36-yard line. An excellent ad-lib effort by Sean Kearney.
Great ad-lib effort by Sean Kearney. But I want you to watch. Curtis Graham is the guy that got it done. His big right guard is out blocking, and he understands, hey, all of a sudden, I want you to watch the right guard. Number 62 here. Watch Kearney drop it, and he realizes, hey, I got to go. Big guard says, I got to go. Look at this block. That's a great job on Nixon. Gets him out of the way. That gets him 5 extra yards.
And that's an 18-yard pickup on Kendrick right up the middle. You're talking about Grantham. You love those offensive linemen. We have a flag on the play. They call him Junkyard G, Grantham, a guy who's a senior out of Huntsville, Alabama. He got hurt in 2004 in the 4th snap of the game against California. Broke a leg. Well, another first down and 5 for Air Force. And Air Force now at the 30-yard line. That was David Nixon again. What's he doing over there? Twice they've called him on that.
Well, he's got to take a look at where the ball is aligned before he gets himself sitting there.
Now we're going to have a timeout by BYU. 7:42 to go on this beautiful day here in the Rampart Range area at the base of the Rocky Mountains. 24-0 BYU. The board.
You've got to do what you know what to do. You've got to keep it simple, build from a base that's wide rather than one that's narrow, and that's what they're doing right now.
So they now have that first down at the 22-yard line. Kendrick still in at fullback. Carney now looking to the far sideline, has the play, ready to go. As he'll send in motion Justin Handley. Handley gets the ball, trying to turn the corner, and can't. Tripped up. And that was just a remarkable play by Papinga. Kelly Papinga, whose brother was an outstanding defensive player for this BYU team. An all-conference player, Brady.
Well, you look at the speed once again of BYU, the linebacking core, and this is a defensive end, Papinga. But a lot of fans would ask, well, why do they keep running to the speed? Because it's going to open up the inside for your fullback in the middle, and that's where most of the yardage so far has come for Air Force.
About a half-yard gain on the play. Second down coming up as we're going to have a reverse toss back. It's going to go to Victor Thompson to the 20. Oh, he had a big play in the making and was dragged down. That was Bolden, Chris Bolden, who saved what could have been a huge play. Criddle coming up to help on the play, but Thompson looked like he had a big play in the making.
I'll tell you, watch number 70, Halaponga here. He stays at home, and because he stays at home and makes it go underneath, Criddle's in a position to make a play. Credit the D lineman for staying home. That's why this ball is stopped where it was.
And so it's a third down now. Third down for the Falcons. 3rd and 7. Kendrick, the fullback. You would figure Air Force is in 4-down territory now, the way this game is, 24-0. Here's Carney, keeps the ball. He's got the 10. He's to the 7. It'll be 1st and goal for the Falcons. Papinga again on the tackle. Carney doing a great job on that keeper and cutting it up the field.
Now you take a look. It's a great job. And sometimes you have to understand your best runner is your quarterback. And rather than run him wide into the teeth of the defense of the speed, let's get it in the middle.
And they're in the red zone. You can see it for the first time and what they've done thus far. 5 field goals, 12 touchdowns, and 24 trips. They're there now with a 1st and goal at the 7. Kendrick Smith and Hanley in the backfield. Air Force trying to get on the board. Hand off to Kendrick. He is able to get to about the 2, and he slammed down there. One of the things you want to be aware of here is Air Force has had great success this year on onside kicks. They've had 2 successful onside kicks. Should they score here, would it be too early to try an onside kick?
Not at all, but the cart is before the horse a little bit. Because of the speed of this defense, it's all collapsed much closer in now due to the red zone.
All right, we'll see. And there's a handoff and very close. Did he get in? Kendrick diving, touchdown Air Force. So the Falcons are on the scoreboard.
The cart got in the end zone.
You sound like a coach every time, you know what? Don't get the cart before the horse. So the Falcons have dented the scoring column. And this is very close.
Predetermined handoff to the fullback in the A-gap. Gets it in. Everybody under. They're going to review this play, it appears. Very tough to see. I don't think there's enough evidence to overturn. I think he got the score.
Well, the only thing that would negate that would be his knees are down. They're not going to review this. It's a touchdown. They're going to go for 2. Air Force will go for 2.
I'll run the same play again.
All right, Kendrick, the running back. And wait a minute. Now they will review. They're going to review it, I believe. And so we'll have to wait and see what they're going to have, as Air Force doesn't have the cart before the horse yet, or the horse before the cart. What did you say earlier?
Oh, boy. But they are reviewing it, I noticed.
Anyway, Kendrick, from our vantage point, let's look at it. Let's see if we can see it from this angle.
I don't think no matter what you see, it will be enough to overturn the fact that it's a touchdown. It would have to be blatant the ball hits before that line. I don't think we'll see that. There's not enough evidence. It will be a touchdown. You look here, you can't see from that angle. It looks like it gets into us. It will be a touchdown. They'll go for 2. I can't wait to see what they pull out.
Well, I would not be surprised all they go for an onside kick. Kendrick, by the way, had a big game last week. He had a touchdown in the game last week against San Diego State.
Now, unfortunately for BYU, right before the officials called timeout, they kind of showed their hand coming up the middle to stop the fullback dive. I'm interested to see what Air Forces decides they're going to do against that, assuming the same defense comes up.
Now, if this game or if this touchdown does not stand up, they're going to have a 3rd and goal at about the half-yard line. And we'll wait for the decision from upstairs as the review coming forth. I'm not sure it was challenged by Bronco Mendenhall or whether the people upstairs are challenging and looking at it. But Fisher right now is firing his troops up, trying to get them to make one of those patented comebacks that they're known for with 4:05 left in this game. And so we will have the decision as soon as our referee from the Mountain West Conference, Rick Colon, is informed of what happened. Do you think it's indisputable or not?
I just don't think there's enough evidence to overturn it. That's really what it comes down to, I think.
After video review, the call on the field stands. It'll be 3rd down.
Wait.
Air Force.
Well, the call on the field was a touchdown.
Yeah, I thought it was. They're saying he didn't get in. Now, so it'll be 3rd and goal. I thought they indicated a touchdown, and
one of the linesmen did indicate a touchdown. One did not. So obviously, the one that did not got the call correctly
that's
somehow.
See, I thought they were reviewing whether it's a touchdown, and so there's a ruling.
This guy right here.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's back up. It's 3rd and goal, and you know Air Force will take 2 cracks at it if they need it. And BYU now is they're going to have half the distance to the goal. Cameron Jensen was standing and looking at Sean Carney right through his face mask.
That's a risk versus reward. There's not a lot of risk here, but if you hit it on time, you really get the reward.
Contact. Number 31 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
That ends up being a 6-inch penalty as the ball is almost touching the goal line. 3rd penalty this drive on BYU. So Air Force still trying to get on the scoreboard as we have now 3:55 left. There's Carney sneaking, and they're in now. So the Falcons have scored 24-6 with 3:54 left in this 3rd quarter. Very interesting drive. I mean, it was typical Air Force football the entire way.
Well, he's going to go right over his big right guard, Graham, and over his big tackle right there, Gunther, gets him in easy.
Now they're going to...
Look at the pad levels. That's what I love, Gary. The pad level. Down low, scooping them out of there.
Few offensive linemen. The pad level is a big, big thing. Brian Jones to snap. Chris Karp to hold. Zach Sasser to add the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. And now it is 24-7. Don't go away. DeBerry saying, hey, we're still alive. Sean Carney diving in for 6 points.
Hi, I'm Chad Erickson. I'm an animation student at Brigham Young University. We just won a Student Emmy Award for our film Faux Pas. It's about a curious cat who gets into some trouble on the internet.
Very dangerous things on the internet.
Faux Pas is now part of a national internet safety campaign with McGruff, the crime dog. It's an important project for BYU because we're able to make a great film, and hopefully we can help to keep children safe.
Rated E to M.
Excuse me. So what exactly are you guys?
Air Force on the board. Will they try an onside kick? Looking out there, they could position themselves. They've been successful twice this year. Brown and Bakapuna up, the good hands guys for BYU. And they're going to sky kick it. And twice this year they've been able to do that. And the ball is kicked over BYU's head. They've got to field it.
He called for a fair catch. He cannot run the ball.
And I did not see the fair catch. But anyway, it's Daniel Coates who came up with it. As an end result, it ends up being a very effective kickoff. They're going to have it at the 6-yard line.
I want you to watch the deep guy right here. He is going to raise his hand right there. Right there. He raises his hand for a fair catch. He may not advance that ball. That should be a penalty.
You did see it. It was a subtle one. It's like he almost halfway up with the arm thought better of it.
Well, he knew what his rules are. I'm a big guy. Don't feel the ball unless I have to.
Well, that sky kick has been affected by Sasser. Twice they've recovered that as well. Now, we may have a review here following up your point, Glenn, as to whether or not he could advance that football. By the way, that drive a moment ago by Air Force went 80 yards in 15 plays, took 7 minutes and 9 seconds. The problem is it was a nice touchdown drive, but it took a lot of time, and there's not a lot of time left in this game. So let's see what this explanation is. Mr. Parker with his rules, he is just so on with them. He's so succinct and accurate, and that's what evidently is being discussed right now as to whether he could actually return that football after calling for the fair catch. So Bronco and Fisher awaiting the review. So we'll find out as soon as they do. Do we have a man shaking up on the play?
We sure do.
It looks
BYU.
like, yeah, it's Fagan, the big guard, or maybe their toughest offensive lineman. I don't see him. Where is he?
He's actually off the sideline going to the bench right now. That's Ray Fanga. And he's a big interior good lineman.
Okay, so that's what it is. So there's no review. I just told you, Glenn doesn't know his rules at all.
The fact of the matter is this. If you call for a fair catch, you may not advance it. They obviously weren't watching, didn't see it. I have the rules right, they just don't.
By the way, Beck is 0 for 2 passing in the second half. He'll dig this one out as he gives it to Curtis Brown, and Brown is able to get to the 9, maybe the 10-yard line. Knocked out of bounds there as BYU trying to get some field position. Bobby Gianni over there to make the tackle, the safety, the junior. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 7. Boy, if Air Force wants to make a move, they've got to make a stand on this series, I would think, get the ball back quickly.
Well, that includes playing great defense, playing smart defense. Don't give up a long play-action pass because you're so anxious to stop the run.
So Beck, as we mentioned, still looking for his first completion in the second half. 2nd down, he's looking both ways, throws up the field, and there it is to the 22, a 1st down. Zach Colley with his first catch of the game. Colley coming up with a grab, and they dig themselves out of a hole.
Just playing way too off the ball. If you take a look when Beck comes back and throws, Ray Bird, I believe, is a Bird. Carson Bird right there is 5 yards behind him, and he's giving up the 1st down marker.
So Beck delivers on a 3rd down, and it's going to bring up a 1st down out the 21-yard line. The thing you see about Beck, and in talking to him yesterday, he's just so well composed, so much in control. His emotions, his poise, his confidence, something to watch. As he comes out throwing, far side broken up. That ball deflected. Is it intercepted? On the deflection, they are indicating it may have been. The ball was deflected in the air and picked up, and that interception's by Chris Sutton. I got to see this one again. It didn't look like that ball was going to be intercepted, deflected. I think Beck is saying the same thing. That ball was on the field. Let's see if we can pick her up. Here it goes.
Good job of getting the hand up. That's it. Oh, and two bobbles. Very tough to see there, but I'll tell you what. Chris Sutton got his hand on it, and then he comes back to get it again.
Nope.
Ball's out.
Nope. They're going to review this one, so that will be incomplete. Wow, a near miss. You got to give Air Force a lot of credit. I mean, they were flying around the ball that time as Beck scrambling, a right-hander running left, and the ball almost picked up by Sutton before it hit the ground. But you see a little shift here in this game. All of a sudden, Air Force starting now to play with some positive feel about who they are.
Yep, and you can see it down there. You're absolutely right, though. But, you know, Sutton tips it, then Meeson tips it, excuse me, and Sutton almost gets. It's guys flying around trying to make plays,
that's
not
what I mean.
giving up.
So either Air Force's ball to 48 or they'll move it back, and it'll be an incomplete pass. As I'm just sure that this will be overturned. Great effort, though. You saw Meeson, out of Madison, Wisconsin, La Follette High School, who was back on the play along with Sutton. Sutton, who has played so well for Air Force for so many years, a senior out of Longview, Texas. So we've had a lot of reviews in the second half. That first half went very fast. This third quarter is kind of dragging out a little bit. So if they give them the interception, it'll be at the 48 of BYU. BYU now finding out, some of their players trotting over saying that that ball will be ruled incomplete, and that's no surprise up here. So to bring up a, second down for BYU. I don't know why it's taken them so long to figure this out.
Yeah, we nailed it in the first copy. Boom, done.
So Beck, who is, you look at Beck's numbers coming in here. He had 7 touchdown passes and only 3 interceptions. 2 touchdowns today.
After video review, the call in the field is going to be overturned. The ball hit the ground. There is indisputable video evidence that the ball hit the ground. It will be second down from the 21-yard line.
Well, it's the right call. Let's go down to Archie.
Thanks, Gary. You know, earlier in the week, we had a chance to spend some time with head coach Bronco Mendenhall, and if you spend just a couple of minutes with him, you realize he's a very philosophical and passionate coach. Every single day, he presents a PowerPoint presentation to his players that help them with mentally toughness and physical demanding challenges. He actually started it 2 years ago, and they were called Big Fridays, where he would challenge his team above and beyond their capacity to see how far they could go. At the end of those challenges, at the end of the season, he handed them wristbands that say ACE for accountability, discipline, and effort. And to this day, a lot of those players are still wearing them 2 years later.
In fact, John Beck said his wife says he's never taken his off. So there's a handoff to Curtis Brown as Brown now gets out to the 26, still fighting his way. It'll be a third down. I don't know if you can put this much importance on this next snap, but I think this next snap is huge. If Air Force somehow can make BYU give up the football right now, they still have a chance in this game.
Believe it or not, what's huge was that last play going from 2nd and 10 to 3rd and 3, making it manageable because Curtis Brown fought his way for extra yards.
You saw that wristband, our guys showing you that John Beck said, I've never taken it off. And I tell you what, Broncos really got some interesting things that he talks about. We were with him quite some time yesterday visiting. Here's Beck back to throw on third down. The play is to Harleen, and Harleen makes the catch. And that is a big play here in the third quarter. Harleen takes it to the 43-yard line. Harleen today has been huge for BYU. He's made big catch after big catch.
And a lot of it has come right over the middle because the spread offense forces linebackers wide. Over one level, in front of the second level, that gives an opportunity, a little pocket there, and Harleen's doing a great job of settling into that little zone.
That is a big conversion. So it'll mark it at the 43 of Air Force. Harleen tonight is 4 of 68 and a touchdown. Here's a handoff now to Tonga to the 40-yard line. So you can just kind of feel the air go out of the stadium after that last completion to Harleen as this crowd hoping that somehow Air Force could get a stop and then start to get into this game even closer.
As we said before, lucky to have 3 more possessions unless they force a turnover or get a special teams play. And right now, BYU doing a great job of holding the ball, understanding what it is they have to do to win rather than what it is they don't want to do.
Bronco Mendenhall talking about the great tradition of BYU. Lavelle Edwards, of course, 29 years a head coach, won 1 national championship, 24 conference titles. They're coming back to those days again. Here's back over the middle, complete to Tonga. Tonga wrestled down very close to the first down. If he doesn't have it, he's within inches of it as they'll mark the ball at the 32-yard. So this was a game where Air Force looked at an opportunity to move into first place in the Mountain West Conference. They had stumbled in San Diego State, felt though that they could come back, win this, end BYU's 4-game winning streak. Instead, now Air Force, after today, has to go to Army, and Army beat them here in Falcon Stadium last year. Then they have to play Notre Dame here, so it is really getting tough the next couple of weeks.
That sure is, and this is a game not only they need for the conference, but just after a loss at San Diego State, you have to be able to come back high and on an emotional high. Just haven't done it.
Second and goal, just inside the 5-yard line. Tonga goes in motion. Beck scrambling around. And he's going to get rid of the ball at the last moment to Bakapuna, and he's in for the touchdown. How about this John Beck? You talk about creating a play. He was in a lot of trouble. He was rocketed with a tackle, still had the presence of mind to get this ball out.
Well, vision, and we've said it before, vision. He understands to look down the field when he's in trouble. His eyes never come off downfield. Here he is. He's looking downfield. He's looking downfield. He spots Vakapuna. And people say downfield, hey, it's almost a lateral. It's only 4 yards. It's understanding where your guys are. He's looking. He's looking. He knows he's got a back. Just tosses it to him. Heads up play number one. But, you know, why does he do that? Because he knows where his guy is. It's not a surprise. He knew where his guy was going to be and got it to him.
That's his third touchdown toss of the game. Now Jason Beck, no relation to John, holds, and that ball is blocked. The kick by McLaughlin is blocked. And we've talked about Air Force through the years. They've had great success blocking kicks. They had 92 kicks that they had been able to block since 1990. They got one there, their first of the year, but they trail 30-7.
Pressure, enemy of engines. Enemy of pressure, Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, with adaptive molecules that continually join forces to help conquer pressure. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Custom, it's my middle name. Got my own special pen? Tricked out my ride. Here's my latest creation, an HP DV2000T. I added an optional TV tuner card so I can record and watch my favorite shows. And I can play back movies, music, and photos with this optional remote that tucks right inside. Cool, huh?
The HP Pavilion DV2000T Entertainment Notebook with Intel Centrino Dual mobile technology. Visit HP.com today to customize one that's right for you.
Homeowners, want to get cash and simplify your bills? Ask about a combo loan from Countrywide. It's a refi that you could use to combine your first mortgage, your second mortgage, your car loan, and all your high-rate credit card debt into one easy loan with one low monthly payment. It could save you hundreds every month. Call America's #1 home loan lender now and ask for a combo loan. No one can do what Countrywide can. Apply now.
Call 1-800-641-8734.
Well, just a moment ago, we had a block PAT. We'll show it to you in a moment. Robert Cray looks like he got a piece of it. As here it is. Look at it, Glenn.
Good snap. Big 6'8" offensive tackle. Robert Cray gets his hands up. Guys doing more than they're asked to do.
Did you ever block anything in your life? I'm not talking about offensively. I'm talking about kicks.
No.
Here's the kickoff. McLaughlin is just hammering the ball. There's another one out of the field of play. Hollis is back. They'll start from the 20-yard line. That last drive was something. 12 plays, 96 yards, took over 5 minutes. Remember, they had that, what we thought was maybe a mishandled sky kick, and they were able to dig out of it.
Sure were.
March Goldward, and, you know, they look at John Beck and what he's been able to do in the course of this game, and the 4-yard touchdown reception by Bakapuna. But what I started to say, coming in here, this team's averaging 36 points a game, and they're 30 right now, and we still have 13 and a half minutes left. Here is Carney now, delayed handoff to Chad Hall, and Hall just barely gets out of the backfield. He may have lost 2 yards.
Go back to what you said, though, about the sky kick and pinning him down. You have to be able to take advantage of and exploit the field position you're given. And Air Force could not do that. BYU turned it around on them. And that's why BYU, it's a dominating performance at this point.
Oh, it really is. I mean, they are a very good football team, and they're going to start moving into the rankings. And in that BCS picture, as BYU, you cannot ignore what they've done now for 5 straight weeks. There's Ryan Williams straight ahead, the junior fullback who's been alternating back there. He's had a couple of good games. Fisher DeBerry's team, you know, they wanted to win today. That would have matched their victory output of last season, and obviously would have put them in first place in the conference. Now they have to retool, go play Army. They've already lost to Navy this year, so they cannot win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. But they still had the conference title aspirations coming into today, and So this is a very severe loss if it continues the way it is right now.
Now, they cannot win the Commander-in-Chief Trophy because
Navy won it last year, and Navy's beaten them, and if it ends up in a tie, it stays with Navy.
That was my question. Thank you, sir. I knew you'd know the answer.
But Fisher dominated the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy for so many years. He won it 13 out of 17 years, but now has lost 4 in a row to Navy. Paul Johnson's Navy team has really turned around that academy. And last year here against Army, they lost for the first time in 8 games against the Black Knights. And that was a game where they had a chance to win it and fumbled late in the ball game. Mickle goes back for the punt from Zach Sasser. Beautiful punt by Sasser. He had a 60-yarder earlier, fair catch by Mickle at the 26-yard line, and that's where BYU will have it. Well, the defense of BYU, we've said a lot about the offense. What about the defense, Mr. Parker?
Speed at the linebacking core. Speed, that's a great job by Wagner to get that ball. Great tackling by Jensen. It's about speed over and over again. And then hustle. Guy gets up off the ground. That's Brian Keel. This is a great job right here. That's a D tackle going against a running back. Speed from the inside out. Cameron Jensen, linebacker. Speed for BYU. They've been able to dominate because of it.
Well, let's go back now and take a look at the Under Armour advantage that you documented early in the game. Are you hitting on all cylinders here?
I believe I am. Size and speed. Dominating on offense with their size, dominating on defense with their speed.
Here's Beck on a play action. He fooled everybody. Got all kinds of time. Now checks down to his short receiver, Tonga, who makes the catch. And there is a flag on the play. Beck faked everybody out and then still couldn't find anybody open. With the calm and the poise and the confidence, just finally found a man.
Well, you got to credit the corners for Air Force. They didn't bite on the double move. They were on it the whole way. But Beck's just too good. He's going to find someone.
Holding on the offense, number 74, 10 yards, previous spot, replay, first down.
Travis Bright playing at the right guard spot. Somewhere in there, he grabs a little leg, sure, and tackles him a little bit. But that seems awfully ticky-tack.
Well, he's from the Phoenix area. He wanted to protect Beck, who's also from that Phoenix area. Travis Bright, a sophomore, played at Hamilton High School out of Queen Creek, Arizona. So that'll move him back to the 16-yard line with 11:08 left in this game. BYU winning 30-7 on their way to their 5th straight win, and they'll be the remaining unbeaten team in conference play. Here's Beck running, and I'm sure the coaches get very nervous anytime Beck is running the football.
Yeah, and he's got to learn to slide a little more too. That time he got out of bounds, but a couple times we've seen him kind of take it and go down without sliding.
Let's talk about Beck a little bit. Glenn, we had talked about him being the leading candidate for the Offensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West Conference. I think that's probably a slam dunk. But on Sundays, the pros are looking at him. I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks in the history of the school. This guy now is finding a position for himself with all the Jim McMahons and the Ty Detmers through the years.
Well, he's doing it in a different fashion. They have a better running game than they've had for most of the past. So he hasn't had to have the wide open offense that allowed Ty Detmer and some of the other quarterbacks to get those massive yards. But in many ways, he's on par or better with some of the BYU quarterbacks of the past, in that he has a stronger arm, better vision down the field, and very good decision-making skills.
So this completion, Carson Bird is shaken up. It's Zach Colley on the receiving end. And Bird is the guy who is still down, and hopefully he'll be all right. Bird is a backup, a junior out of Sharpsburg, Georgia. You know, if you look at BYU's history and the quarterbacks they've had, it's a list of Jim McMahon, Ty Detmer, Steve Young. They had the Heisman Trophy winner in Detmer. You were talking about Detmer. 1 year, Ty Detmer, Glenn, threw for 5,188 yards.
Unreal. Well, you take a look how Carson Bird gets hit here. He is in on the tackle, comes in from your right, and it's helmet to helmet with his teammate. And down he goes. Let's hope that he is going to be all right.
Well, you know, you look at Fisher and the success he's had here at Air Force, as we mentioned, the winningest coach in the history of Academy football, a legend in his own right, trying now to avoid a 3rd straight losing season. We'll talk more about what's ahead for the Academy. 37 BYU.
This is not good. What if I get hurt and can't work? Wait, I have Aflac. They give me cash to help pay for groceries, the car, even the cable bill. Lucky me.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
All college sports, all the time.
CSTV, the 24-hour college sports network from CBS Sports, is the class of the field in America's college sports.
Rihanna on the way.
Inside they score. Call touchdown. Sergeant, sing. Goal, Boston College.
I love college sports.
Thank you, CSTV. Thank you.
Show some school spirit. Call your cable or satellite provider and ask for CSTV.
Same thrills, different class. Introducing Jose Cuervo Black Medallion. Aged tequila with a smoother taste that's perfect on the rocks.
Sometimes what you need after your holiday vacation
Sorry, Mom.
is a vacation.
And Dad.
Book your holiday trip now and save $200 on your next trip. Expedia.com.
Welcome back to Falcon Stadium. A very serious moment here right now. Carson Bird, the junior out of Sharpsburg, Virginia, helmet to helmet with his teammate Chris Thomas. He is precautionary. I think they're going to bring out a gurney for him. But the good thing we saw a while ago, Glenn, is his leg was moving, the right leg. And here's the hit again, helmet to helmet.
Helmet to helmet. As you see when he goes down, he's looking and his arms are out. So we can't assume anything, but we can hope that it's not real serious. You see that as a devastating blow, and he rolls over. But as you said, both legs were actually moving. They were rubbing his calves to make sure he had some feeling, or at least attempting to see if he had feeling. So we'll pay close attention to.
Yeah, and you know they have the very best of help here. I mean, you cannot imagine how efficient they are here at the academy. In anything medically or in any kind of a trauma accident, these guys around here are, you know, they do a lot of things, flying gliders to parachuting to all that you can imagine. And of course now the football venue, which is dangerous in itself. So Fisher, of course, saying a little prayer. I cannot tell you what a great human being Fisher DeBerry is. And I know how concerned he is, and his wife Lou Ann right now. So we hope it's going to be all right. You know, the thing that I was starting to say before this injury about Fisher is that his football team for so many years was dominating the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. They had a couple of 12-1 seasons. They've had 8 11-win seasons. And what has happened, I think, two things that's made it really hard for Fisher. One, the conference is tougher. The Mountain West Conference has gotten much tougher. The addition of TCU. I think you're seeing the recruiting, the caliber of athletes under Craig Thompson, the commissioner here, really increase dramatically. The other thing that's happened to him is that now Navy has started to turn it. And Navy now has beaten them 4 straight times. He had dominated in that capacity as well. I don't think people realize how hard it is sometimes to be successful in an academy because of the academic requirements, because of the caliber of athlete that you have to bring in, both as a student as well as an athlete. So I just hope that people realize how effective he's been, and I know how disappointed he is right now and very concerned about his player on the field.
And remember, when you're recruiting the type of student athlete that Air Force is recruiting, your only 2 natural recruiting enemies will be Navy and Army. They're going after the exact players you're going after. So the recruiting base is very small for the special type of athlete it takes to come and play at an academy.
RG, do you have an insight down there for us?
Yeah, you know, talking along the lines of recruiting and Fisher DeBerry, we did talk to the coaching staff a little earlier in the week about that. And Chuck Peterson said that DeBerry is really, the foundation of the program is family. He loves these kids, and it is difficult to recruit these players. But he said what has really helped is that continuity between the defensive coordinator, Richard Bell, the offensive coordinator, Chuck Peterson, and Fisher DeBerry. They rank 3rd nationally in terms of coaching experience at the Division I level. So that continuity and that consistency has helped over the years in order to get some of these players recruited to the Air Force Academy. And they rank third, so the only guys that they are, ranked behind are Penn State coach Joe Paterno and Florida State's Bobby Bowden.
Well, it's a very good insight, and you can see Richard Bell, the defensive coordinator, with the headset on. And can you tell us
this
right that there
Richard
is?
Bell, right?
Yeah, Richard, and of course Chuck Peterson that RG just talked about a little bit earlier. And so what we have right now is Carson Bird is down. We will not speculate as to the extent of the injury. We will tell you that he did move his legs. He had a helmet-to-helmet hit with Chris Thomas, a freshman defensive back for Air Force. And you can see a lot of the players down on a knee, very concerned, praying for him. And so we just will sit here and hope for the very best, as this place is very, very quiet. The care of former player and team doctor is down there, Tokish, and all of the staff alongside. I tell you, Glenn, you played in this game a long time. You've seen this before, and it never gets easy, does it?
No, and it's it never gets easy. It never gets routine. As much as many times as you see helmet hits, you see players down. Every case is in its own and very, very scary.
Yeah. Well, we're going to step away. We will certainly let you know as soon as we know what the status of Carson Bird is. 30-7 BYU.
Super Duty, the most capable pickup in America. Bold moves. They happen every day.
Hey guys, are you sick of feeling fat and tired? Has your love life slowed down or even come to a screeching halt?
Introducing Nutrisystem for men.
I'm Dan Marino, and I lost 22 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Order today and get 4 full weeks of awesome food. Plus, you'll get an extra week of hearty meals free.
Hey, I'm at my playing weight now.
The secret to the system is the glycemic advantage, a science that separates good carbs from bad.
So now you can eat burgers, pasta, even pot roast. Get back in the game.
Since Nutrisystem, my sex life is excellent. I feel I'm back again. I feel like better than I did in high school.
About $10 a day gets you 4 full weeks of rib-sticking meals.
If you want to lose weight, pick up the phone and change your life.
I'm 40 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life.
You will lose weight.
Order our 4-week men's program and get an extra 7 breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and desserts. A full week of food and a $70 value absolutely free. So call now.
Carson Bird now being taken off the field to an applause here. We've had a delay in the game. If you've just joined us, Carson Bird with a helmet-to-helmet hit with one of his teammates, Chris Thomas. And we'll get an update. RG Stefopoulos is down there. I'm sure she'll be the first to know, as I'm sure they will take him right away to the hospital here on the base. And we hope before we get off the air we'll have an update. And we just will not speculate, but a very sobering moment, and we'll go back and show you again. I'll let you watch it this time, Glenn. I don't want to see it.
No, I'm right with you. Unfortunately, it's part of football. Guys are playing hard, trying to make plays, and he unfortunately takes a helmet-to-helmet shot, and we certainly hope that his family and everyone is.
You know, we got a lot of football left still. 10:44 left to go in this game. BYU up 30-7. Brown and Vakapuna in the backfield. It's Vakapuna trying to go wide, and he's swarmed under. Interesting to see. You know, a lot of times you get a player hurt like that. That really fires up some guys, even though they weren't fired up before. But they swarmed to the ball on that play, didn't they? Second down and 11.
Sure did. Came from inside out. Had good contain. Allowed the backside to get to him. Big play.
That was Kirchhoff, Aaron Kirchhoff, who's a sophomore, who's recovered a couple of kicks this year. And now getting to play some football. Tonga's in the backfield. Will bring up second down now, and 11 yards to go for BYU. The Cougars trying to make it 5 in a row before they play Colorado State. Beck comes out throwing. He completes it to Reed. Reed having a big afternoon for the Cougars. He'll be short of the first down. It'll be third down at about 3 yards to go from the 45-yard line.
Once again, Gary, it's about manageable third downs. You go from 2nd and 11. Now you're at 3rd and 3. They're being very smart the way they're working the clock as well as the field here. Beck understood, throw underneath, get my yards, and make a third down I can get.
They are 8 of 10 on third down. That's an amazing statistic. They came in here 49% start of the day, 80% at this stage. Third down, and let's make it 3 yards to go. Coming, it looks like. Here they come up the middle. They pick it up. Beck takes his time, surveys the field, still looking for somebody to shake open, running around. He's still on his feet, and he's going to run it to the 50, 45, and knocked out of bounds. I tell you what, that was the longest time you'll ever see a quarterback stay in the pocket, but what it did, he bought time and he got a first down.
And once again, the vision, they actually only rush 2. They bring the blitz, everybody drops. So he's got to try to find a guy, and they're all staying at the line at the first down marker. But he never takes his eyes off downfield. Right there, what he's doing with his hands, you see him point, he's telling Harleen to get going, run upfield, draw the coverage out so that he can get the first.
I tell you what, again, he's exposing himself. John Beck took a pretty good shot that time.
Sure did. He didn't need to either. He had the first by a lot of yards.
So at the 45-yard line, BYU moves the change. 9:03 left to go. Tonga, Bakapuna in the backfield. Here's Fui. Fui running the ball straight ahead and just moves the pile. Still on his feet. To the 30. Where did that come from? All of a sudden, he came out of that pile, and he just all of a sudden was up to the 30-yard line before he was finally dropped at that point.
Well, it comes from being 6'1", 234 pounds and understanding power football. Gets a great lead block, understands I got to get through there, keeps his leg driving, his body low, his pads low, and never give up on the play. Power running by Fui Wakapuna. That's the element that they've missed for so long in this offense.
12-yard pickup on the play. First down now for BYU as they have it inside the 30-yard line. Brown is in the backfield. He's joined there by Semenoff. Back to throw is Beck near side. Tonga makes the catch, and he'll be short of the 25, and it's going to bring up a second down and about 6 yards to go. So Beck continues to impress. Beck at the start of the day was completing 70% of his passes. He had thrown 17 touchdowns, had only 3 interceptions. He had a high this year of 436 yards against Boston College, and he's approaching that 400 mark, I would think, today.
Yep, and proficient is one thing, efficient is another. He is both. He shows exactly why pro scouts like him.
78% completion today, Glenn, and there's a terrific throw and catch. I mean, that ball was thrown a long ways, and Matt Allen, we have not called his name all day, a junior out of Peoria, Arizona, came up with the catch, and they have another first down at the 12-yard line.
About 24 yards downfield and about 30 yards out. You're talking the distance this ball has to go, but look, the ball is thrown before he makes his break, so only he can get that catch. It's a great job by Beck, a very nice route by his wide receiver. That's just good all the way across.
That was a terrific throw, and now the 10th receiver that he has thrown to. That was Allen's first catch, so 10 different receivers, and he's completed now his last 8. The numbers are astounding. Here's a handoff to Vakapuna again. He goes to the 10-yard line. So what do we have total passing yardage now for Beck? We've mentioned that he had a 436-yard game, and he's only got 258. I thought he had more than that. That seems like he'd be more than that.
Once again, though, efficient. You take a look at the third down and 29 he gets, the third down and 11 he gets. Most of the time, he's throwing middle of the field. Very rarely has he thrown anything over 10 yards or so, but that's how efficient he is. He's putting the ball in the hands of receivers and moving the chains.
So he'll now have a second down. We're going to have a timeout called as the officials are going to huddle together. And maybe they are resetting the play clock or the game clock. We'll wait and see. We'll have an explanation.
Please reset the clock to 7:05.
7:05. They were down to 6:53. We were talking about the all-time passers. 1 year, Detmer threw for 5,188 yards. Jim McMahon was unbelievable. There's Beck. Bosco was a quarterback on that national championship team in '84. I mean, it's incredible what they've done.
It really is, and he'll pass McMahon, it looks like, this year. And if he continues going the way he is.
He will not catch Detmer, though. And there is Beck. Slant that maybe should have been caught for the touchdown. That was McKay Jacobson, the true freshman out of Texas, who had 2 touchdown catches last week. Could not quite hang on to that one.
Well, the ball's a little hot, but it's put right on Jacobson's hands. Jacobson here, you catch with your hands just like you're supposed to. Unfortunately, his hands turn over a bit on him, and that's why he doesn't grab that ball. Good play by Chris Huckins on defense.
Chris Huckins getting some playing time. He hasn't played very much, a senior out of Kent, Washington. So it's going to be 3rd down now. They can get a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. It's 3rd down, 7 yards to go.
I cannot begin to tell you how good your spotter is, Gary.
Well, my spotter is pretty close to the apple tree. Did you know that? Does that make any sense? Here is Beck throwing into the end zone. Diving attempt. And not able to come out was Matt Allen. You're talking about my son, Brett Bender, who is our spotter, who has kept both of us in proper check and positioning all year long. And that takes a lot of doing.
Yes, it does.
So, 4th down, and here comes McLaughlin, and who earlier kicked a career-long 53-yarder.
This is a post-corner route. The ball's out there. Just gets away from Beck a little bit. If anything, with Beck, we've seen just a few balls get away from him. A couple of touchdown tries where he's got to be banging his head on his helmet when he gets to the sidelines, because he's had an opportunity to actually score a lot more points in this game than he has.
So McLaughlin, who earlier kicked a 53-yarder, now will attempt this time a 27-yard field goal attempt. The holder is Jason Beck. I would think we might see Jason Beck now, don't you?
I think so.
He was a backup quarterback who started a game this year against Utah State and threw for over 300 yards in that game. So the field goal makes it 33-7 BYU, 6.5 minutes left in this game. So this BYU team has come in here and made another statement on a Saturday afternoon. Hey, tonight, reality really bites. It's the Shark Hunters East Coast finale, and it's now or never to reel in the biggest beast in the East. Shark Hunters, East versus West, tonight, 8 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. The competition is on versus. I hope those guys don't go shark hunting anytime soon.
No, my goodness. We don't need to see that much.
Well, that last drive was 12 plays, 65 yards. Took 4 minutes and 56 seconds, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with BYU. I was impressed at TCU, but I think I'm even starting to see now that game has now propelled him into a football team nobody's going to want to play.
Well, in case people don't remember, what was so impressive about the game at TCU is coming off a short week, having traveled to the East Coast, lost a tight game that they probably should have won, and all of a sudden they never lost their focus. They never gave up, and they've just gotten more and more confident week by week.
So now back deep is going to be Chris Thomas to return this kickoff. McLaughlin's been a busy guy today, a couple of field goals, 6:38 left to go. This place is very quiet right now as the Falcons came in here with high hopes that they could rebound from last week's very disappointing loss in San Diego. McLaughlin, and guys just hammering the ball. I mean, there hasn't been a kick that hasn't gone clear out of the back of the end zone. Either end. I mean, of course, there's not a lot of wind today, but it's either end. He's kicked it out. So you can see by quarter what's happened. BYU got off on that first drive and scored. There's a 7th straight game. They scored first in the game, 14 in the second. Now 9 here in the 4th. Falcons able to score that 1 touchdown in the 3rd quarter. And we have a new quarterback for Air Force. Jim Ollis is going to come in.
Well, the early turnovers by Air Force certainly caused a problem. You're down 21-0 fairly early, but just haven't been able to mount any sort of offense or play real good defense against BYU.
Here's Ollis. Ollis is more of a runner than a passer, as we mentioned, a running back a year ago. And he takes a real shot as he heads up the field. Ollis out of Columbus, North Carolina. Ben Criddle, who is not even on scholarship for BYU, came up to make that stop.
And this is a big hit. Just shoulder down, gets through him. You know, a part of being an option quarterback is running the ball, but you got discretion is the better part of valor.
Ollis is a guy who played running back last year and started a game against Navy a year ago. He is a junior. He was an all-state player, also a state wrestling champ in high school. And they like his running ability, and here he's going to show it to you, except BYU had other ideas, and they drop him at about the 26-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down. So I would think that maybe BYU will change quarterbacks as well, and Jason Beck would be coming in when they get the football back.
I would think so, too. It's a good opportunity for Jason Beck to get some playing time and showcase his skills a little bit.
There's Sean Carney, and Sean today not able to complete very many passes, but that's been the case. They've been going back to the Air Force of old, running the ball much more effectively than they have. They came into the start of the day 3rd in the nation in running, but BYU didn't allow him to get going again. And there's a handoff to Scott Peoples. He's a junior out of Dalton, Georgia. Thanks to Gary Milkus, our producer, and Chris Lincoln, our director. Thank you, guys. Job well done as always. Look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas, as it'll be UNLV against TCU. And Mr. Parker, thank you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Bender. I've enjoyed our trip out here.
We got here. It wasn't easy.
Was not easy. Still waiting on my bag.
Well, I was out on this interstate here, sitting dead still for 2.5 hours, and I was thinking about you. I called everybody I knew. You're the only guy I didn't call to tell of my plight, as there's a handoff to Peoples again. Flags on the play with now 4:18 left to go. I think as you look at the big picture of this, we know that BYU's marching on their way to what could be a conference championship.
Offsides, defense, number 54, 5-yard penalty resulting in a 1st down.
But what about Air Force? I mean, the Army game is so big, and they're headed back there to play them, and then they have to play Notre Dame. I mean, it is not easy. Utah has been struggling as of late, and then they play December 2nd. That's about as late as they've played in a football season in the regular season. Here's Ottis now, play action, trying to find some time to throw the ball, and he barely got that one out.
If Air Force plays up to their level and as good as they can win it maybe 4 of those games if they play the way they're capable. If they play the way we saw today, they'll be lucky to get 1 win in that group.
Here's David Nixon, the guy who chased him down. When you start talking about BYU, you talk about the Becks of the world, but I tell you, the 2 linebackers, David Nixon and Brian Keel, as a pair, might be as good as anybody in the country.
Absolutely, and throw Cameron Jensen in that mix, and you've really got a good linebacking core.
Outstanding linebacking core. And there's Ottis completing the pass, and that is caught by Bo Suter. Suter, the senior, who has fought his way onto this football team, and always glad to see a guy like that have the success he's had, as that'll move the ball out to the 41-yard line and bring up a 3rd down. So Air Force to Army to meet Bobby Ross's team, who lost to TCU last week. And Air Force with only their 3rd completion of the game just a moment ago.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from a deficit if you can't throw the ball effectively.
Here's a pitch near side, and running effectively that time is McCarthy. And McCarthy's going to bring it out to the 47-yard line, wrestled down, 1st down, Air Force.
Well, I'll talk. Bo Suter had a great lead block on this. Great block.
You think getting hit by a 300-pound lineman is tough? Try getting on the back of a 1-ton raging bull. The best riders in the world try to hang on for 8 seconds in the not-to-be-missed PBR Built for Tough World Finals, live from Vegas tonight at 9 on Versus. And here is Ottis out throwing again, and on target, Mark Root with his first catch of the day. Root, a junior out of Tallahassee, his 3rd catch of the season. So Ottis having a little success here. They're moving the sticks, and Air Force would love to score again before this game is over.
Yeah, BYU is going to continue to allow this to happen. They're going to play. I mean, you take a look. Things are in front of them. That's what they want. Hit them, keep them in bounds, get them out, down, let the clock tick. Don't give up the big play.
Fisher DeBerry, we're talking about the success he's had. He came in here with a 168, 104-1 record. Amazing record. But today he's going to go in that lost column. There's another pass completion. Nope, it's incomplete. For a moment, it looked like Anthony Hemphill, who we don't even have on our depth chart, might hang on to that, but could not.
Well, I'll tell you, he made a great adjustment to the ball. If he could have hung on, it would have been something else. He would have come right to the attention of the coaches.
He is a freshman, we understand, Hemphill.
See how he comes back under the DB. That's a great job. Good job of the DB stripping that ball. You always like when your DB can do that. But I'll tell you what, main thing about Hemphill that I liked was the adjustment. Looked up, saw the ball, knew he had to come underneath, did a good job.
So we got a lot of new people in Hemphill, a guy a moment ago, and here's a scrambling play, and able to get close to a first down on the play is the quarterback, Hollis. Want to thank Rob Malone, our statistician, who's hung in here. There's been a lot of stats in this game, most in favor of BYU. So we have come now to the last 3 minutes of this game. And Air Force with backup people, as is BYU at this particular time. Daywan Fisher will look at this and say, I've got some guys playing pretty hard right now at the end of this game.
That's right. And that's what, that's what you have to remember, whether it's the end of the season, the end of a game like this. The guys playing hard. The guys still want to play football when they don't have a lot of chance to win.
There is Scott Peoples. RG, do you have an update on Carson Bird?
I have somewhat of an update. He has been taken to the Academy Hospital for observation. Now, I don't have any more specifics because this year there's a new rule here at the Air Force Academy, and it's because of HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Acts. The Air Force personnel cannot comment on specifics of an injury, but he has been taken to the Academy Hospital, and he's going to be observed. Gary?
Okay, RG, thank you very much. And as again, I'll say it again, there's not a better group of people to be working with Carson Bird than they have right here at the Academy. There's a pitch, and oh my goodness, Bo Suter was just undressed on that play, knocked back to the 21-yard line. Big hit on him. And so that will bring us now to about 4 yards to go, and we're going to have a third down. We're going to have a timeout as well. Timeout by Air Force.
Well, Quinn Gooch, number 25 for BYU there. As you just saw on your screen, he came flying up from the safety position to make a play.
Well, you know, Gooch is one of those guys who has really come on this year. He's run the secondary, improved vastly for this team, a junior out of Tucson. Sabino High School. There's a guy from Tucson.
There's a son of the old Pueblo.
Well, I guess what I would have to say after this day is over, that if anybody has not seen BYU play before, and if some of the pollsters and people who vote on all these things have not understood how good this BYU team is, today should make a difference. I think they have today come in here, made another huge statement in this beautiful, beautiful day to play football. And look out. I mean, this team now is headed down the stretch. They're 6-2, 4-0 in the Mountain West Conference. And it could come right down to they could run the string and get to that game at Utah. What a game that would be.
It sure would be. But, you know, sometimes I think what happens with pollsters is they look at the competition but fail to look at how you played. And you know what? It's one thing to beat a team or come back against a team and say what a great comeback it was when you shouldn't have had to come back against a team. BYU came in here, played the way they should have played, and they probably won't get credit for it. That's the unfortunate part.
Well, your point's well taken, because what did Charlie Weiss say? He was befuddled that they didn't go up in the rankings more and they had to come from behind win. Befuddled is an interesting word, but I think what you're saying to me is it doesn't have to be a dramatic comeback. It doesn't have to be a game that's pulled out. It's a total team perception. And the perception right now, BYU, is that they are becoming a little bit of a juggernaut.
Well, take a look. If you would have said, hey, BYU's playing Air Force, people would have said they're going to kill Air Force. What they do, they killed Air Force. That should count for points in the polls.
Here is Hollis now scrambling his way to the 15, and that's going to be enough for the first down. So Hollis has acquitted himself well.
He has.
In a relief role here.
Showing a lot of desire, showing a running ability, and actually showing passing ability, finding guys. Now, it's a little different when you're playing against the second team, and it's a little different when they're giving you those passes, but you still got to get the job done, and he is.
That's right. First down now at the 14-yard line, and just trying to salve some wounds a little bit as Air Force. They'd love to get another touchdown. Scott Peoples able to pound it forward. Scott Peoples is a guy that plays quite a bit for Air Force. He's their third fullback. He's a guy who's, you know, just a hard-working man who they have played behind Kendrick and Williams, and now getting a lot of playing time as we have a penalty play.
Number 36 in the descent. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's the only thing Bronco will be able to find negative in this game. They've been offside, I think, 3 times.
And if you're a BYU player, you will hear about that more than your victory. You're going to hear about the offsides. And with good reason. If you want to be a champion, you have to address the little things.
We've been told it's the 5th time they've done that. And so to the 5 goes Bo Suter, and Suter will get to the 5-yard line, and it's very close to a 1st and goal. Let's see where they are going to mark it. As looks like they are going to be just short. Going to be 2nd and about a half-yard to go. So Air Force now with 37 seconds left. They stopped the clock as he was out of bounds. Falcons trying to punch one in here. And the handoff comes to Peoples, and he's not going to get it in. And he's going to be slammed down. It'll be 3rd down there. We're going to have now a timeout called. Did they get the 1st down? Let's see what they got. Did they give it to him? I think they did. I think he's got a 1st and goal. He does. So it's a 1st and goal, and timeout is called by Air Force with 32 seconds. You don't think it isn't important to them to get a touchdown?
That's right. And also on the flip side is important to BYU. They're playing just as tough defensively, trying to stop them. All these kids have a ton of pride, whether they're on Air Force or BYU.
Well, John Beck, let's document his day. 33 of 31, 258 yards, 3 touchdowns. He now has a total of 67 career touchdown passes. And
I didn't even get one.
Yeah, he is a remarkable young man. We had the pleasure of spending time with him. The thing I enjoyed about him, I touched on this earlier, he's a hunter, and I love to hunt. And we were comparing shotguns and some of his experiences hunting. And he got a deer this last season. He went hunting with his dad. And he's from the Phoenix area. He's a big Phoenix Suns fan. And he's just the type of kid that if you were playing with, you would just have the utmost confidence in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The way he talked about the other guys on his team and his friends and his wife, you know, you get a real sense that this guy knows what it's all about and gets it.
He does get it, no question about it. And his team is getting it too. 6-2 on the year is what they're going to be. Now Air Force on a 1st and goal at the 4. Pitch comes back at Suter. Suter fighting for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown Air Force. So with 27 seconds left, Suter able to take it in. And Suter, as we mentioned earlier, his father's a head wrestling coach at the University of Wyoming. He is able to crack in and get his first rushing touchdown to go with a touchdown catch that he had earlier this year against the Cowboys.
Well, you get a look. You get one lead block. They're pulling their big tackle. Here comes Nick Charles around. He gets a block. Everybody kind of lays on someone, opens some holes. Good job by Bo Suter.
80-yard drive, Aldis engineered there in 16 plays. Took 6 minutes and 6 seconds. Jones to snap, Cart to hold, Sasser to kick, and it's 33-14.
Unfortunately, they needed that to take about a minute. It took 6.
But again, you want a little victory, a minor victory? It was a minor victory for Air Force. To move the football, get on the scoreboard again with 27 seconds left, and get that all out of your system with this loss and get ready for the battle with Army next week.
Absolutely.
What are you smiling at?
I just enjoy listening to you speak. You are a font, and I love it.
I'm a what?
A font. It comes bubbling out of you, and I absolutely love to listen to you speak.
It didn't sound good when you first said that. I'll just leave it alone.
Okay.
Hey, we appreciate Archie down on the sideline. I know she's been really busy, and we'll look forward to next week when we all get together. And that TCU team is, I think, as I said earlier, going to be a force down the stretch. UNLV really struggling. They're trying to overcome a lot of injuries. And do we have a TCU Wyoming score? Has anybody seen that?
You know what? I have not seen it. But
is it tonight? It's a tonight. Okay, I stand corrected. That's a night game. That's a very dangerous game for TCU.
Oh, it
Wyoming
absolutely
is really playing well.
Wyoming has been in so many tight games.
Here's the onside kick. They've been good this year, and BYU this time was there. I mean, they got there in a hurry, as we're going to give credit to Daniel Coates coming up with the onside kick.
That's 2 trick kicks that Dan Coates has come up with. Good job getting in there, fighting for the ball.
You know what you did there? That was really interesting.
I did a Ben Coates. I stopped, though. I caught myself.
With the Buffalo, I mean, all those connections with Buffalo coming back again.
He played against us and always seemed to kill us. So
Ben Coates, boy, he was a heck of a tight end. And Daniel Coates of no relation. Here comes Jason Beck, who's not related to John Beck.
No.
And he's not going to get a snap because that's going to end the ball game.
Change of possession.
Yep.
Run the clock. Gary, I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
I have too, Glenn. Thank you, buddy. Have a safe trip. I'll see you next week. 33-14. BYU goes to 6-2. Air Force now will drop to 3-4, 3-2 in conference play, playing such a tough schedule as Bronco Mendenhall is returning this BYU team into a powerhouse entity. I mean, they are a team to be reckoned with as the rest of the season unfolds. They now are bowl eligible. They have matched their victory output of a year ago. So join us on Saturday as TCU travels to Las Vegas to take on the Rebels in our next Mountain West telecast on Versus. Starts at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Coming up next, the Barbecue Championship Series. So from a sunny, beautiful day here in Falcon Stadium, it was all BYU. A commanding 33-14 victory. Thank you for joining us for